Evet sevgili dostlar, hoş geldiniz. Juarez'te kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. Dalton kardeşleri aklayacağız. 2 tane banka soyuyorlarmış. Ranger'ı alalım. Tüfeğimizi alalım. Evet. Ne oluyor lan?
Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody.
Hangisi düşman, şaşırıyor insan ya.
Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up.
Oh.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. Put some holes in them.
Seri patlar alalım ya. Buradan içeri girince ne oluyor? Bir dakika. Oh, oh, oh, oh, oh, oh, oh. Herif ölmedi ya lan.
Brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon.
Çocuğun hikayesinden.
U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boy.
Çocuğun hikayesinden dinliyoruz şimdi bakalım.
Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait till something bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. We went in there alone to confront those criminals.
Hemen karşı koymak için bankanın arkasına git.
Where are you going? Are you crazy?
Şu lazım bize ya. Koşarken silah dolduramam.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Nereye gidiyoruz peki? Şuradan girmeyecek miyiz?
From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
Ha, su kulesi.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
Vay vay vay vay vay.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Oh yeah.
Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch!
Oh, baby.
Rule the day.
Aha, paralar gitmiş.
Over there.
Oh.
Silas Greaves. What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Oh. Şu kapıdan mı çıkacağız? Bakalım ne olacak arkadaşlar.
His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened. It was early evening, not high noon. The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Oo. Lider acemi. Bob, Emmett, Gret. Lider acemi beceriksiz.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville.
Nereye kaçtı lan bunlar? Buradan girmedi mi? Yo, buradan girmeyeceğiz. Üçünü birden nasıl öldüreceğim lan?
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, as those two families have been feuding forever.
Gerçekten görmedim arkadaşlar. Yeşilliklerden, o çalılardan.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, as those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Oh.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up.
Never give up.
Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape.
Vay.
The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Yavaşlamamız için dinamit patlattılar.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a
Hiç savunacak hiçbir yer yok. Oğlum manyak mısın? Oo. Öl lan. Ölmüyor. Öl.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
23
Well,
kez
Dwight,
vurduğunu
who do you
söylerse.
think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Cesaretli çocuktu.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
We'll track him to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws.
Dalton
But as we headed
kardeşler.
into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Bakalım.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell.
Vietnam gibi ya sanki. Oo.
It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Kırıntı bulduk. Yeni seviye. Yeni seviye. Yakın mesafede dayanıklılık sağlar.
Bury them in the swamp. Plant them where they stand.
Except for some son bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
Lan.
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends. Boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
It's you or me.
Niye görmüyorum lan ben? Şaka. Lan. Oha. Kardeşlerden biri miydi acaba? Shotgunner. Değilmiş. Oha. Kaç.
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen. Point being, I was under serious attack.
Oo, namussuz tüfek. Ben patlatacağımız bir şey var mı? Al. Bounty Hunter diyor. Ödül avcısı.
The But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
Şu mermilerimizi alalım.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running through the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was.
Hakikaten labirent gibi acayip bir yer ya. Ne oluyor lan?
Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon...
Adam hikayeyi anlatırken uyuyakaldı.
Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians? They were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
Onu
You were
uyandırmak
following
için.
the Daltons through a swamp.
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Sinek çok var ya. Aynı yerlere gelip duruyor muyuz? Anlamadım ki. Oğlum oyunun başladığı yere geldik. Tabii aynen. Dur bakayım. Ne yapacağız burada? Şöyle gideceğiz galiba, aynen.
Stop that, son of a bitch!
Oo.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what.
Haydutları
But
püskürt
hell,
diyor.
what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Level mi atladık? Bakayım. Aha. Ne oluyor? Al sana. Oğlum buran ne biçim bir yer lan? Kıçından vuracağım. Vurulmuyor. Bug olmuş. Kolundan vuruyor o zaman. Al sana da. Oo. Al o zaman. Ne oldu? Rengin soldu. Yalnız bataklıktan bir an önce çıkmak istiyorum. Oha. Shield. Onun için ben şöyle bir hediyem var. Lan. Kimsiniz lan siz? Dalton kardeşler bayağı zorluymuş. Bayağı ekipleri varmış ya. Nereden sıkıyor lan o?
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Dalton mu kaldı ya? Bu ne lan? Çiçekmiş.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Buraya
Now,
kadar
was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found.
Oha.
Among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Temizledik. Oo. Şurada biri daha var. Oğlum ben ne Dalton kardeşlermiş.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Bak eline ateş ediyorum.
Sounds like you don't.
Al.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Shotgunlıymış. Oo, manzara da fena ha. Mermilerimizi dolduralım. Oh yeah. Doğru mu gidiyoruz? Evet. Yalnız çok güzel efektler burada, hani gıcırdama sesleri falan çok iyi. Bizden biri.
Right about then, much to my relief,
Orada
the
bekliyor sanki.
vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Oo.
I'm sending you to hell.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning
tuzağa
labyrinth
düşürdüler.
proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
We're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Breeze?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Oo. Oğlum bayağı adam varmış lan. Alın lan köpekler. Oha. Oha oha oha. Geberin.
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down.
Hayda.
Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Oha. Nasıl öldüreceğiz arkadaşlar? İki ikisini birden. Şu vurdu beni.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his
Dalton
wounds.
kardeşler.
Paroled 14 years later. He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Vay be.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
The Wild Bunch Episode 7. Oo.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we
Vay.
had.
O yüzden bunların
including
başına
our
düşmüşüz.
lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy."
Vay.
Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Vay, o yüzden intikam almışız arkadaşlar. Hem para hem intikam. Vay be. Kardeşlerimizi öldürmüşler. Butch Cassidy ve Sandal Skin filmini seyrettiniz mi arkadaşlar? Vay be.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
Wild
Led
Bunch'ı
by
peşine
Butch
düştü.
Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe
İşte.
Bob Bryant.
Were you a
Kaptan-
part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
Evet arkadaşlar, kardeşimizin intikamı yolunda devam ediyoruz. Bu bölümü burada sonlandıracağım. Bir sonraki bölüm, belki son bölüm olabilir tahmin ediyorum. Brian'ı öldürerek. İzlediğiniz için teşekkür ederim. Bir sonraki bölüm görüşmek üzere. Hoşçakalın.